I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Hello and welcome to the Unfazed Review podcast.
How's it going?
Good to see y'all. How you surviving during these tumultuous times?
Yeah, I think last we left you was the closing days of 2020, right?
That's correct.
And since then, a lot has happened. A lot of newsworthy stuff has happened, right?
Yep.
Just days into 2021. What do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about the obvious?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just
Yeah.
Let's attack it.
Yeah. So the Capitol, right? The Capitol was. So my first thing I just want to say about this is that it really wasn't that big a deal. I don't know. I mean, everyone's saying. Well, yeah, again, one of my favorite YouTubers. Oh God, what's his name? Some Ordinary Gamers, Mudahar. He tweeted when it was going down, "We can now officially all say we've lived through an apocalyptic event." And it's like, dude, it was a bunch of crazy people memeing for a little while. Like, it wasn't... if the Capitol were, like, blown up, or if it were stormed with, like, serious arms, like AK-47s, that would be serious.
Yeah.
But this was like, I mean, you've seen pictures of the Via Getty guy with the podium when he's, like, waving.
Yeah.
They had no...
You're like tourists.
Yeah, they had no planned course of action. They just wanted to, like, go down there and, like, just meme. They're just fucking weird, crazy people just having fun.
And I almost think, you guys can blow the conspiracy theory whistle all you want. That's totally fine. But I think there were a lot of people who went out there to just do a show of support and peacefully protest. Because if you go back and look at those videos, it's a lot of people with their Trump hats and their Trump flags just chilling on the Capitol lawn and demonstrating. And then you had the wackos up front that were breaking in glass and actually, committing a crime.
Yeah.
And I wonder how many of those people were strategically placed agitators or people who went in with the sole reason to wreak havoc, whether they were paid by somebody, whether they were just, mentally unstable, or maybe a mixture of those people all together. Because from what I saw from the video, everyone on the outskirts seemed pretty peaceful, like just a demonstration. And it was up front. That's where the chaos was.
Totally,
I didn't see people lighting shit on fire and knocking cars over and shit. It was like right up at the forefront.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me if those people were paid aggravators or agitators, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, it's tough to tell how exactly this thing was organized and if it was sort of blown out of proportion. It's like when you throw a party and then it's like that, the classic sequence in any like early 2000s film about a kid when he tries to throw a party and his friends are out of town, or when his family's out of town, and then it ends up like going crazy and there's all these people over at his house
Project
we didn't
X.
know. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Project X, that kind of
Project
thing.
X.
So it's like it could have easily been that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what they did was okay. I think they should all be arrested and they're stupid. But I don't think it was this serious. Like, I've been watching the trial or whatever for the second impeachment today, and it's so funny. All these
Are
congressmen.
they actually trying to go through with that?
I mean, they did it. They haven't like. There's something they have to do after the impeachment because they impeached him once over the summer. Remember?
I think they tried.
They tried. You can't impeach them, but then they stay in office, and there's a step after. It's confusing.
Okay.
It's really confusing.
My thing is, why are they doing that with, what are we at, as of the recording of this, not even, like a week left or something like that? The only thing I can figure is that they're scared of him running again in 2024, or they're afraid that within this next week, he's going to release some serious information to the public, and they want to shut him the fuck up.
Both of those. That first argument was the main one I've heard, that they want to stop. So if they go through with whatever the next step is after this impeachment that they weren't able to go through last time, then he won't be able to run for office. So they can get. But the other thing I've heard, which doesn't make any sense, is that they think he's just like gone batshit crazy and he's gonna like start nuking everyone. Yeah. But that's like what?
Yeah.
How do you go from point A to that point B in that sequence of events? I know he like sanctioned the rally or whatever, but it was just going to be a rally outside of the Capitol.
Yeah,
it wasn't going to be. He didn't tell them to go like fuck shit up.
He was like like demonstrate.
Yeah, so that's why when all these people are saying he incited violence, but he didn't. Guys, this is such an important distinction we need to make. This whole country was founded on the idea of freedom, and what freedom means is that every individual person has the ability and the power to make their own decisions. So if we're saying that it's Trump's fault that those people did that, then we can't have freedom.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. If he had said if he had told them to storm the Capitol and just go crazy, if he had literally told them to do what they did, then yeah, he would have incited, violence, and it would have been sort of a treasonous thing. But he didn't. He just told them to rally at the Capitol, and I think it went awry from there. So it's really important to draw this distinction between what he actually condoned and what they did that was on them.
And my thing is whether, sorry to interrupt
No,
you,
go ahead.
but whether you like Trump or whether you hate Trump, just look at the last video that he released and listen to what he actually said and make the decision for yourself.
Yeah.
From what I heard, pretty innocuous, pretty mellow. Yeah.
And people are saying he didn't. I'm not gonna lie. Like, people are saying he didn't act quickly enough. People are saying he should have gone straight to the Capitol. But honestly, I think he kind of enjoyed everything that went down.
Oh yeah.
Like, again, he didn't incite it, but like once he saw that it was happening, I don't think he was like jumping to like, oh, this is terrible, we need to stop it. I think he got a fucking chuckle out of it.
I think he
and
enjoyed,
so did I.
I think he enjoyed.
Yeah.
And when we're saying this, I don't think he enjoyed people dying. I don't think he enjoyed anything being destroyed. But I think what he probably enjoyed was the overwhelming show of support, aside from the crazies and the people that agitated things. I think he was probably happy about, oh, these people are willing to go out there for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone was saying like they came in there with weapons and they were shooting. Well, the shooting came from the cops, which is, again, was warranted, but it's not like they came in guns blazing.
Yeah,
Did you see all these fucking guys were dressed?
The lady who got shot in the throat was shot by Capitol Police or Capitol, whatever they are, armed guards.
And then someone hit a police officer with a fire extinguisher, but that happened like after the shooting started.
No shit.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about
and I think he died.
Ooh,
so, but
sorry.
yeah,
That sucks.
but yeah, it's like you just gotta be very careful what kind of distinctions you make in terms of like who did what and who is propelled by what.
And you also got to wonder, like I said, how many of those people were plants, or how many of those people were paid, or how many of those people were just batshit crazy and they jumped in because they saw an opportunity for chaos.
Yeah.
There were so many people there, you can't pigeonhole them all into the same category. It's like, yeah, I'm sure there were terrible fucking people there. And I'm sure there were also patriots there who were just actually there to demonstrate. Just as other similar rallies, people go to show their support, and then there's usually that smaller percentage of the group who ends up fucking shit up and causing violence.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like you can't paint everyone with the brush of being like, oh, they're all bad. No matter what. No matter if you're talking about the Black Lives Matter rallies, you're talking about what happened at the Capitol, you're talking about any kind of demonstration, fill in the blank throughout history. There's the people who are true believers. There's people who are there to see if anything's going to go down. There's people who are just looking like out of curiosity. And then there's people who are there to incite violence and who are there just to purely start shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Capitol security has been getting a lot of flack. I think most of the people who were on duty that day are getting fired because they like let those people in. So you don't know how deep this thing went.
Yeah.
I don't know how deep it went, but they really did fuck up. Yeah. Like, if you attack the Capitol in GTA, it's like you get killed way quicker than these guys.
I mean, I saw some videos of them just moving the gates off to the side and like just kind of letting them in. And I don't know if they had not gotten the orders or if they were saying, let them demonstrate. Or I don't know how deep it went.
Yeah.
Or like I said, blow the conspiracy theorist whistle. Go ahead. Maybe there's something more sinister here.
Yeah. I really can't say, but I know.
I don't know.
All I know is that, like always, I mean, we always harp on this because it's always relevant.
Yeah.
Is that the news blows shit way out of proportion.
That's gonna be our next topic. I want to get into the censorship thing.
I was scrolling through HBO the other day, and there's already like a fucking documentary about this thing. It's called it's called like Storming the Capitol or something.
Already?
Yeah. And the picture of it is like the Capitol, and it's all like red. It's supposed to look like it's on fire.
It's already out?
It's already out. Yeah.
So my thing is, how the fuck is that out in a week? I know. That was a week ago today.
I know.
It was a week ago today.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You got your news sources, you got your quick editing, but that almost seems a little convenient.
Yeah, no, I know. It's so stupid. But I think that the main thing we need to distinguish here is that it's really not apocalyptic. If that was an apocalyptic event, we all deserve to die. Like, that's just, we're so weak. Like, if that was really like, oh no, then if the actual apocalypse were to happen, we'd all be toast.
You got to question the timing of a lot of this stuff. And like I said, there's people out there who I'm not trying to sway you. I'm just voicing what I think. Yeah. And you could think I'm, misguided and wrong, and that's fine. Or you could agree with me, or you could be unsure. That I don't really care. But what I think is that there's a lot of stuff that happened over the course of this last year that deserves a deeper look. And
for
the
sure.
timing of a lot of things seems very strange to me. Especially during an election year, there's just a lot of things that happened that makes me say, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if
I know what you mean.
I don't think we're getting the whole story here.
A lot of the major events seem like it's like something from a clean like script that was written.
Yeah, it seems like it's out of a playbook.
Beat. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I mean, I don't know how deep it is or how crazy I sound, but like think about it. It's like you got COVID, and then that crushes the economy that was doing very well.
Yeah.
And then you got everybody with their masks, and then all these young techie people out of work, and then they get riled up by something that the media perpetuates that's race related and police brutality related.
Right.
That gets everybody riled up. That gets them out together during COVID. And it's like that could potentially spread the virus further.
Yeah.
And like there's so many things that happened just like YouTube going down. YouTube went down for the first time in like 15 years, like a week before the election.
Oh yeah.
What was that all about? I feel like no one touched base on that.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like there's just Trump and Giuliani getting COVID.
Yeah.
It's like there's just so many little things. Maybe it is all happenstance. Maybe it's all coincidence. Maybe I'm overthinking and overanalyzing. But it just seems like one too many hits that were just very conveniently timed.
Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah.
And again, like this stuff is not. This is very surface level stuff, and it's made out to be these big life changing events. Everyone was saying, "Oh, there's so much history in 2020. All the history teachers are gonna have to be teaching all this." It's like 2020 in a whole semester because there's so much. It really wasn't that much happening.
Yeah.
I mean, coronavirus was a big thing that will get touched on. The Black Lives Matter protests were. Yeah, okay. It wasn't like huge.
Significant.
Significant, but it wasn't like Rodney King or anything, I feel like.
Yeah. And it definitely wasn't like marches on Washington.
No.
Like those were, super important to learn about, obviously. But these new ones, it's like the problem with the BLM too, I think, is like, I think there's a lot of people that really have good intentions with it when it started. And I think there's a lot of people still that think like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
But I think just like with any group like that, there were radicals who came in and they bastardized the true meaning
for sure.
of it.
I mean,
and they went in and they turned it into something that goes against what it was originally about.
Yeah. I should say, because I feel like, especially now, all of our viewers who aren't right wing are gonna think we're like vehemently right wing and like super even alt-right or something, but like over the summer I went to a Black Lives Matter protest. I had a sign and everything. I protested with them, and it was really nice. It was very well coordinated. I felt very safe. Everything was great. But then there are protests that go awry. There's looting, there's shooting, there's vandalism, blah blah blah. And the one thing I noticed with this Capitol thing, and again just take a look at these guys. A bunch of nerds dressing up. They had like rebel symbols tattooed, and there was that guy with the big like fur headdress. There was just a bunch of nerds.
From Arizona.
Yeah, it was a bunch of nerds.
That guy used to bang a trash can lid outside of my building where I used to work downtown.
Really?
Swear to God. Actually, somewhere on this phone I have a picture of him actually, and he would go downtown. He would go at like mid-afternoon when people were going to lunch, and he would bang this thing, and he would yell, and I don't know what he was yelling because we were up on the 7th floor, so I don't know exactly what. I'm sure it was something
he was
crazy.
already an insane person.
Yeah.
So I mean, guys, if a group of like idiot nerds can like shake the world, we're doomed. It was. At the end of the day,
thick skin.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal. And the other thing that really became clear to me after all this was that the two-party system, the two parties have become like sporting events. They're like teams. The way that many politicians who are right-wing, who are Republicans, denounced Trump and denounced the actions of the people at the Capitol, and who had said that they're now like leaving the Republican Party, showed me that it's almost akin to like Trump is like a big player on their team and they don't like the player anymore, so like switching teams. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're rooting for a team, and then like a couple guys did something on their team that they didn't like, and they're like, oh, we gotta. The Republican Party isn't a team; it's a set of ideals. Same with the Democrats; it's a set of ideals.
I'm gonna pause it real quick, guys.
Sure.
Sorry.
Something big is coming to McDonald's.
Pour it down.
Something of such enormous proportions.
Stand back.
It could only be called the Jurassic Park Extra Value Meal.
Okay.
Let's eat! An enormously juicy triple cheeseburger with fries and a medium drink in one of 6 free Jurassic Park collector cups. The Jurassic Park Extra Value Meal. A dino-sized value for a dino-sized appetite.
Hey, where's mine?
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
All right.
And we're back.
Yeah, so anyway, I saw a lot of members of the Senate and just people in politics in general who were like denouncing the entire Republican Party after these events.
Yeah.
And that's when you really have to decide whether or not these parties are defined as a set of ideals or defined as what group of people associates with them. You know what I'm saying?
Like a team. Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
said.
It's like, does Trump define what the Republican Party is, or does the Republican Party define what the Republican Party is? You know, it's really sad to me. It shows that there's no like ideological basis in politics anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like, I like this guy, I'm with them. Oh, I don't like him anymore, I'm with these guys.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't work like that.
I've never heard any constructive comments from people who hate either side as to why they hate them. They just say, if they don't like Trump, they're like, oh, he's mean, he's racist.
Yeah.
And there's no really backing up of it. And also, I don't see them giving a chance to both sides.
Yeah, I know.
It's like I don't see anyone like truly looking at what's said. They're just believing what the media spoon feeds them.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the dangerous thing. And I think that's what we really need to be careful of. No matter what side of the fence you're on, if you're strictly just listening to the news and believing everything that they tell you, it's like a form of brainwashing.
Yeah,
It's like you
it is.
you have to get your news from a variety of sources, and you have to like look at it a little objectively and kind of be like, okay, what's real and what's not? Because as they say, there is a shit ton of fake news, and there is a lot of media outlets that I feel like are completely bought out.
Yeah.
And they are just in it for money and in it for very corrupt reasons.
Yeah.
And they'll do and say whatever they need to maintain their position of power or to continue getting that check.
Yeah. And also for people who are outside of the U.S., because I had, when this was all going down, I had Baldy, my friend from Iceland, texting me on Twitter, like, are you okay? What's going on? It's like,
same.
is the world ending over here? And I was like, no, dude, we're fine.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is happening.
The media blows shit
Yeah.
up. And I get it. You'll say, oh, well, they want ratings and everything like that. No, it's beyond the ratings thing at this point. You got 24-hour news. And they're going to a point where they're just trying to scare people and to keep people in a constant state of anxiety. Yeah. And it's fucked up.
So just, for all of our non-American viewers, you just need to realize that, like, I know the perception of America is that it's always on fire, but like we've been fine. Nothing bad has ever happened.
The best thing I can say with everything that happened, with every big event, every big act of violence that you saw within the last 365 days or less, is that they take a smaller thing and they put it under a microscope. Yeah. And they really focus on it, and then they post that everywhere. Yeah. And they make that, front page news, and they make it seem like that's happening on every corner. Yeah. When in reality it's happening in a few specific locations, and they are amplifying it and hyping it and putting it in your face 24/7 on the TV, on your phones, everywhere. And it's a way to keep people freaked out. Yeah.
And I think I mentioned this on a podcast earlier, but if you guys remember when, I think it was Logan Paul went to that looting of Fashion Square. Yeah. And that was like a big thing. Max and I were at that. We're just like walking around. We never felt unsafe at any point. It was just a bunch of like kind of like Gen Z kids just like stealing computers, and like they just wanted computers. Like I don't know, like it was a shitty thing. Yeah. But it wasn't like this like this crazy the world's ending. It was just a bunch of fucking losers stealing shit, and then they went home.
A bunch of idiots.
Yeah. Like again, I never felt like unsafe in that whole situation. Yeah, there was like glass being broken and shit, but it wasn't like this manic, violent thing. It was just some kids stealing shit. Like it wasn't that big a deal. Yeah. And Logan Paul happened to be there.
The thing that I really want to talk about that's correlated with this is the censorship that's going on right now. Yeah. It is scary. The censorship, you're going down a slippery slope right now. Yeah. It's like, if this kind of shit continues, it's going to be like communist China, where like everything is fully censored. I mean, it's like big tech right now is really, I mean, obviously it's like they control everything. Yeah. However, they're getting really out of line. Yeah. Because they're starting to censor people, and they're completely biased. It's like they've been taking down so many conservative channels and so many conservative profiles and so many people that go against the mainstream narrative. Like the mainstream narrative here is very liberal. It's like all the news outlets generally, except for like Fox News, are incredibly liberal, and it's just the way it is. It's just the reality. CNN, incredibly liberal. NBC, any of those, and it's just strange to see like Facebook, taking down people, or the new clause put into YouTube where if there's any discussion of tampering with the election, that your video could be deleted.
Is that true?
Yes. Yeah. If there's anything that it alludes to the fact that there was fraud in any way, they can take down videos or they can delete whole channels. And correct me if I'm mistaken on this, but there's some really shady stuff going on with YouTube and with Twitter, with Instagram, with Facebook. And it's like, Trump was banned from Twitter, and there were other people who were like, obviously Donald Jr. was thinking he's going to be removed from Instagram. And no matter how you feel about them, it would be one thing if it was just them, but it's not. It's like they took Parler off the App Store, and they like crushed that company who hadn't even done anything, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And it's like there's other people who are just being deplatformed or who are being shadow banned just because they're exercising freedom of speech and putting different ideas out there. Now, there's one thing, like I said, if someone's out there like saying, "Oh, let's do really hateful stuff and really bad stuff," and they're like,
yeah, if someone's actually inciting violence.
If we're talking about some really gnarly stuff, 100% take them down. But to just go in and because someone has a difference of opinion, or you think they're going to be spreading information that goes against, the majority or the majority in your company, to just erase them, that's fucking terrifying.
That is really bad.
And that's a problem.
And I think the general principle that's apparently being forgotten here is that if you're telling a lie, eventually the truth will come out. Mm-hmm. But if you try to shut up someone for what they're saying, that almost implies that what they're saying is the truth.
I agree.
Why would you shut them up if they're just lying?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if you weren't scared of it, and if what these people were saying was all just a conspiracy theory and they were nut jobs, let them ramble off and look crazy,
exactly,
and then just say, well, they're nuts.
Alex Jones has been doing his crazy shit for years, and no one gave a shit. But yeah, you're right now. Like, Twitter and Facebook have that. Like, other sources say this is incorrect, so we're deleting it. Yeah. So first of all, who are these sources? Does anyone actually click on the sources, and are they any more verifiable than the original tweet itself? Like, yeah.
And my thing is, their excuse is
that is really bad.
Their excuse is to stop the spread of misinformation. Okay, but I think that is just a guise. I think that is just some kind of mask. I think what they're really doing is suppressing information.
Yeah.
And I think that is really, really scary. And just like piggybacking off what you said, it leads me to believe that there is at least some truth to it.
Yeah.
Because why would they be running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to deplatform all these people at this juncture?
There have been tinfoil hat guys forever. No one gave a shit because they knew they were full of shit.
But my thing is, you're a week away from the transition of power in the United States, and suddenly all these people are being deplatformed right now who are, predominantly conservative. That's a little strange to me.
That is a little strange to me too, I'll be honest.
Yeah, if that would have happened all throughout history or all throughout the last 4 years, okay, and if it was equal on both sides.
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing is very incongruent and very, very, very freaking suspicious.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super suspicious. And I know everyone's saying, like, these are private companies, they can do whatever they want. It's like, yeah, they can do whatever they want, but it's still...
But why are they doing it specifically to the right at this point in time?
Yeah, it's an incredibly... oh, God, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Irresponsible. It's very irresponsible.
Yeah.
Because they know that Twitter knows that they're like a huge source for news.
Yeah.
And they're a huge outlet for the world. YouTube knows that they're like one of the main outlets for information and just entertainment and everything. Facebook knows that information is constantly being networked and messaged and outletted through their site. And so to shut all that down, like they are obviously aware that they're silencing tons and tons and tons and tons of people. It's very irresponsible. They have if they believe in freedom of speech, then they will
let
keep
people,
up
let people exercise
and,
it.
and they'll let people find out for themselves what's bullshit and what's not.
Well, I've just been seeing, and I said this in the Discord, which you guys should join if you haven't. Link in description. But what I said before is this is the equivalent of book burning. And people will say, you're being radical. No, they're being radical. They're suppressing information. Yeah. And on most political videos, you can't even comment. Comments have been disabled. And that's just a little tiny, that's the tip of the iceberg. But when you get to the point where people are being fully deplatformed and erased and their content's being erased, that's the equivalent of burning a book. So it doesn't allow the spreading of new ideas or new thoughts.
Yeah, that's very true.
And that's fucking wrong.
Yeah, that's really bad. That's actually really, really bad.
Yeah.
And it also shows that if they think they can just like tell us that, oh, this is incorrect, this is what's correct, and we won't question it, then they know that like no one's, or they at least have been led to believe that no one is actually actively pursuing information and what is actually going on in the world. They just think we'll just eat it up and believe what they tell us.
And that's a scary trajectory because that's infringing upon basic rights.
Yeah.
I'm going to read some of this and you guys tell me what you think. And like I said, think for yourself, but just looking around, it's super suspicious, guys. Let me read this. This was posted 2 days ago from Axios. Platforms are rapidly removing Donald Trump's account or accounts affiliated with pro-Trump violence and conspiracies like QAnon and Stop the Steal. And like I said, I don't know what side of the road this one's on, but it's just interesting. Reddit has banned the subreddit group Donald Trump. Reddit's side-wipe policies prohibit content that promotes hate or encourages, glorifies, incites, or calls for violence. See, that's the mask that they're, or the label that they're putting on.
I agree with that, but not everything under our Donald Trump is going to be that.
Exactly. That's my thing. It's like if they say, because that means if we speak out against it, they'll say, "Oh, so you're for hate and violence?" No. That's the label they're putting on it, and you're saying anything under the subreddit Donald Trump. Stupid. Is being taken down because they're putting the label on it as all entirely being hate speech. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Here's another one that's disabled. Twitch disabled Trump's channel, citing the move as a necessary step to protect
Twitch.
Yeah, to protect its community and prevent Twitch from being used. Here it is again to incite further violence.
That I can see that from Twitch. Twitch is a pussy.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like. But my thing is, it's like these are not nonpartisan companies. These are super like. Hard left, crush.
They all are.
Crushed, right?
Yeah.
Shopify took down 2 online stores affiliated with Trump. His organization and his campaign's merchandise sites for violating its policies on supporting violence. Basically what they're implying is that if you support Trump in any way, you are supporting violence.
Right.
That's their logic. For
Holy
this.
shit!
Yeah.
That's so bad.
Twitter announced Friday the platform will permanently ban President Trump's account effective immediately. Google has pulled Parler, a social media app for conservatives and far-right extremists. From what I gathered, that was just a free speech forum.
I like how they're lumping them together, conservatives and far-right extremists. They're all in the one thing.
Yeah, I love how they're saying, so essentially they're saying that, my 93-year-old grandfather who was a conservative was definitely an extremist. That man was the most accepting, non-racist, religious, friendly, good man I've ever met. I never heard him say a cuss word. I never heard him say a racist remark. He was the nicest fucking guy. And it's like, so you're saying that because he was conservative, he's an extremist. What the fuck? What the fuck? Insanity. This is insanity. YouTube is accelerating its enforcement of election misinformation and voter fraud claims against Trump and other channels. Shouldn't they be saying against Biden? But
this is really bad. Yeah.
But I mean, my thing is, this is dangerous, and I hope you guys are following me. Even if you disagree with me, I hope you're following at least my my thought process.
Yeah.
My thing is, if you go down this path and you say, "Oh, they're talking about the election. They're pro-Trump. They must be extremists. They must be radicals," then you could point that finger at anybody and say, "Oh, that's why I took him down."
Yeah.
And how are you going to have any recourse against it? Let's say you made a video and you were talking about something. Yeah, like in a podcast like this, and let's say this goes against the ideologies that they want being promoted.
Sure it does.
So they go in and they, God forbid, erase a channel like ours and all of their content, whether it's related or not to that one topic we were discussing. That's fucking wrong.
That's really bad.
That's right. You don't go in and delete. If you really don't like it, then you raise a flag maybe on that post or on that specific video and give them a reason why. You don't go in and shadow ban people and do this sneaky backhanded crap where you delete entire channels. That's insanity, and that's extreme censorship, and it's wrong.
Yeah, the freedom of speech expedites the pursuit of truth, because when there's something that is bullshit, it is shown to be bullshit publicly.
Yeah.
And that is so much more powerful than trying to like cover up everything that you maybe think is bullshit.
Yep.
And again, if you're covering something up, that means you think it has gravitas.
Yeah.
And that means you think it has some level of I don't know, the possibility to change something.
By being so panicky about trying to silence those voices leads me to believe that you're giving them validity just by doing that.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
Because you're scared of them. You're scared of what they have to say and what they're saying.
It's a really bad look.
Here's I'm gonna try to blow through these quickly. Instagram banned Trump from posting on his Facebook accounts for at least the next 2 weeks until the transition of power. Snapchat disabled Trump's Snapchat account Wednesday because it believes the account promotes and hates the spread of hate and violence. TikTok is removing content violations and redirecting hashtags like Storm the Capitol, Patriot Party, and Trump.
Patriot Party. It'd be a good movie.
Apple, Hurricane Party. Apple suspended Parler from its App Store Friday after threat. Can you imagine working for Parler and you're like, fuck.
Jesus.
Comment, Parler has not taken adequate measures to address the proliferation of these threats to people's safety. What the fuck? They don't even have a good reason. Pinterest. Fucking Pinterest, guys. Pinterest. Pinterest has been limiting hashtags related to pro-Trump topics, such as hashtag Steal the Steal, since around the November election. Why would they freak out about that if there was nothing to be concerned about?
Yeah.
A little strange. Stripe will no longer process payments for President Trump's campaign, which it continued to fundraise. Literally, you're taking funding away. So you're partisan. Like you picked a side. It's just Twilio. Is that how you pronounce it? Twilio?
Twilio? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Sunday, it suspended Parler indefinitely. Anyway, you get the gist of this, guys. But it's and my thing is, if it's not just Trump, that's the scary thing. It's anybody who is questioning things. It's anyone who has a difference of opinion. And I get it. It's like, yeah, violence is bad, hate speech is bad, I get that. But to put that sticker on everyone who is conservative and say, oh, they're all far-right, alt-right extremists is insane. That's insane.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah. And someone could be just, doing a podcast like this or like a Joe Rogan type setup and exercising their right to have a difference of opinion and to talk something out.
Yeah.
And
which is the way things should be done.
That's how it should be said. And if something is said that doesn't go with the narrative, the fact that person
get flagged. This information is false.
Yeah, but the fact that they can just go in and shadow ban people and delete channels is so fucking dangerous, guys.
Yeah, that's really, really bad. Yeah. And I know some of you are going to say, like, well, it's because we don't want to encourage these crazies from going out and doing this shit anymore.
Yeah.
It's not going to, if you suppress them, they're just going to come back stronger.
Yeah.
You realize that? I mean, this is exactly the kind of stuff those people hate.
Yeah.
They've all been waiting for like this sort of 1984 type doomsday.
Yeah.
And if you try to shut them up more, they're just going to get more pissed off.
Yeah.
And it's just a fundamentally wrong thing to do. Mm-hmm. You have to let people speak. Obviously, again, they shouldn't incite violence, which I don't think this is what happened with Trump. Unless he literally said, "Yeah, go tear shit up, go storm the Capitol." But I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I didn't hear that from the speeches.
But yeah, I don't think he did that.
That's what people want to hear.
It's a bit of a fucking reach. It really is. But yeah, obviously, besides threats of violence, racism, all that kind of hate speech and all that stuff, you can say whatever you want, and it can be bullshit. And if it's bullshit in the light of day, it'll get proven false in the light of day, and then the world goes on much more happily and with gained knowledge. But when you preemptively shut stuff down before anyone has a chance to examine it, that's very, as the kids say these days, that's very sus. It's super suspect. It's very, as Trump would say, it's very weak. Yeah. It's a very weak thing to do. But it really is. It's a super pussy move. it's just bad for everyone. At the end of the day, it's really gonna have a negative impact on everyone.
Yeah, I'm looking on here, and someone had made a good point recently that there were other individuals who are still allowed to stay on Twitter who did some pretty serious stuff. Like, I was trying to find the exact names because I don't want to call out the wrong individuals.
Sure.
But there were a few like Middle Eastern leaders who were like totally against like homosexuals and like suppressed women's rights and really, really bad stuff.
Yeah.
And they're still allowed on Twitter.
Oh, for sure.
Like people who did some gnarly, heinous stuff, but like, but anything.
Well, it goes without saying that this is all guys just to fuck up Trump. You know, like they don't actually care about that stuff. They're just trying to take Trump down, so they use whatever arsenal.
And it's very clever putting that label of hate rhetoric and inciting violence on anything associated with it. Because that means if you try to fight against it, like, what, are you for violence? And it's like so fucking basic.
Yeah,
it's so fucking
it's a way to like immediately tear you down and make you like irrelevant and.
What are you? What are you, a racist? What do you want? Violence? No, I just want free speech, man.
Holy shit, that's so bad.
It's really bad.
I didn't realize how bad it was until you started talking about it. Holy shit.
It's insanity, and it's a problem. And if you think censorship like that is okay, just wait until it's directed towards people who literally did nothing. It's like if that's like the beginning of like an insane like communist regime.
Yeah.
Of like radical. I don't even know what to call. I don't know what to call that. It's like a dystopian world that I don't want to live in.
Well, kids these days love communism. There's so many fucking communists on Twitter, man.
Yeah, they love the aspects of it, and they love the idealistic idea of it.
Yeah,
it's kind of redundant, but you know what I'm saying.
I know. Yeah.
They love the glorified white picket fence version, but I think,
and it's also because they know they'll be taken care of because they're lazy and they don't output anything.
Yeah. And there's people out there who totally 100% are all for socialism and for all that. And in some cases it works, you know, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I think here, you know, there's so much freaking gray area. You know, where's that money going to come from and all this? And I'm not going to dive into that because I know, you know, socialized medicine works for some countries and stuff. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But I think when you get into this kind of stuff where they're getting into the suppression of information and they're getting into this radical, wicked political censorship, it's scary and it's just wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's really bad.
Yeah.
Had
to rant about it, guys. That's how I feel. I think it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's super fucked up.
Yeah.
There's something I want to briefly touch on. How I've been noticing one thing in common. I've been noticing with people who do a lot of demonizing of Trump, of this other guy I want to talk about, the CallMeCarson thing I told you about. That we'll talk about in a second here. You guys know what I'm talking about. Everyone who really aggressively tries to tear people down. They all have one thing in common, is that they don't do anything. Mm-hmm. These people also love communism. The people that I know that like love to, as soon as someone, like some drama comes out about someone, they'll be like all over them. How could they do this? Despicable, blah, blah, unsubscribe from them, blah, blah, blah. I love communism. They all don't do shit. It's this lazy mindset. There's this thing I saw on Twitter the other day that said like, your productivity does not equal your value. It's okay to take a day off. And like, I get it's a nice sentiment, but at the same time, like, I think most of us live our lives based on the opposite principle. It's that old saying that like, a man's worth is the work that he leaves behind. Mm-hmm. Like the body of things that you have left on this earth is what you've become ultimately, and that's true. Yep. And I think there's so many people these days who just, I don't know, they're not compelled to do anything. And those are the same people that like anytime there's a point of vulnerability in like a big person, they're the ones to demonize them because they want to like tear them down to their level of like nothingness.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just like, I don't know, I just want people to enjoy doing something, pick up a hobby, find some value in something and become good at it. And then maybe you'll stop feeling the need to be like taken care of and to shit on everyone that's done something better than you.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And there's a lot of people who their hobby is just trolling and and just fighting against this imaginary force that they think is oppressing everyone.
Yeah,
but really it's them just being shitty towards other people and being really condescending.
Yeah. We're living in really mentally weak times, guys. It's really scary. It's really bad. I don't think human race has ever been collectively weaker than we are right now.
And
honestly,
more bizarre.
yeah.
And just the gaps in logic are just so frustrating. Anyway, guys, we're gonna take a quick break, but yeah, we're going deep on this one, so we'll be right back.
It is a time when the threat of unemployment is greater than the threat of war. It is a time when national debt demands as much attention as the national security. It is a time when the barriers to a better life are rising and the barriers between nations are falling. The issue is the economy, and it is a time that demands a candidate who is not a business-as-usual politician, but a business leader with the know-how to balance the budget, rebuild the job base, and restore the meaning of Made in the USA. In this election, we can choose a candidate who has made the free enterprise system work, who has created thousands of jobs by building successful businesses. The candidate is Ross Perot. The election is November 3rd. The choice is yours.
Welcome to the Baja Gordita Hotline. If you want to talk about warm, pillowy flatbread, press 1. If you're into zesty pepper jack sauce, press 2.
Row. Here's a fantasy come true. New Baja Gorditas with zesty pepper jack sauce and freshly made salsa, just 99 cents each. Better grab one now.
All right, welcome back. So I wanted to talk to you about, he hasn't heard about the CallMeCarson thing. There's this guy, is some YouTuber named CallMeCarson. First of all, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't really watch YouTube. I don't understand most of like the Twitch streamers and YouTubers that get big. Like I try to watch a lot of these guys and they really just bore me. But to be completely honest, if I were in another life, if I were a different person, I probably wouldn't watch my like Morrowind Let's Play. I wouldn't give a shit about that either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't get into it. But there's this guy, he's a big YouTuber named CallMeCarson, and I think he's like 19 or 20 now. No, I think maybe a little older now, but he's a young guy. And it came out that he was quote unquote grooming a fan through Discord. You know, grooming is like when you kind of like prepare them to be in a sexual relationship with you, try to lure them in or whatever.
It's like how you and I met.
Yeah, exactly.
Emmett's been grooming me.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so through Discord, he was talking to this fan, and at the time, she was 17 and he was 19.
Okay.
Which to me is totally fine, and actually to the state law here is totally fine. They have like the
like
Romeo
the
and
2 year
Juliet law.
difference.
Yeah. I don't, as someone who has a few fans from LaFave Bros and everything, I do think it's shitty to kind of sexually pursue any of your fans. It just feels wrong. There's something about it. It's that relationship isn't the proper.
Unless you're a rock star and it's a groupie.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
That's cool.
Cool. Yeah, but yeah, it's never felt right. And I'm a horny motherfucker. We're both very horny people, but it's never even crossed my mind to like hit on a fan or anything. It's just there's something about it that just feels wrong.
But you don't need to.
Yeah. Too. Yeah, the main thing with this situation is and this is kind of harkening back to what I was talking about before, how the minute someone fucks up, everyone like jumps on them as quickly as possible because they have such fucking hollow lives and nothing else going on in their life that they need to do that to feel any kind of fulfillment. Everyone started calling him like a pedophile and all this shit, which is like insane to me. Mm-hmm. And the big argument was because they didn't even realize that there are 2-year gap laws in place for a reason. Yeah. So then they started saying, I guess she sent nudes to him at one point, and I guess technically there isn't any consideration for like nudes in the Romeo and Juliet law. So because he has underage nudes, he's like technically a pedophile, and it's like they're trying to find any way they can get at him to like call him a pedophile.
So it's like she's 17, and they're like, that's disgusting, that's disgusting. Then she turns 18, and they're like, ooh, barely legal, nice.
Exactly. Yeah, and the other thing, this is even kind of the same thing as we were talking about with censorship, where if you try to like put the cork on something, that means maybe they actually had something to say. This is a kind of a similar reaction, action and reaction, where there are so many people on Twitter and just in the world nowadays that are both very, 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 very quick to like call someone a pedophile, like in this situation, and are like terrified to even talk about these things normally. And those people, I think, have done shit.
Well,
like if you're that scared of it, like you've done some shit.
And
dude,
it seems like they're. It seems like it's always in the front of their mind.
Yeah. No, oh, pedophile, no.
Yeah.
Like, this should be talked about. This call me.
No, not him.
I know, right? Exactly. They're so like skittish about it. It's like, dude, you've totally fucking done some shit. Yeah. But I feel so bad for the guy because this thing like blew up.
And he's a streamer.
Yeah, I guess he's mainly a Twitch streamer or something. He does Minecraft. Okay. But he's still like a kid. He's 19. Like this dude's fucking young, you know. And everyone's like shitting on him.
He's still technically a teenager.
Yeah. He's probably fucking shitting his pants, and everyone is just like trying to tear him down. Yeah. And I got so annoyed seeing this argument recurring on Twitter, where they were saying, well, you know, he has underage nudes, so that makes him he has CP, he has like child porn or whatever, technically, because he has her nudes. But like, you can't lump like a teenager having nudes of another teenager into like actual. Yeah. You know,
it's a whole different.
Yeah.
It's a whole different category thing.
And so like I don't even say it as an insult. I say it as a genuine question. Do people who like follow that line of thought, like are they actually like autistic? I feel like you have to be on the spectrum. To take it that literally. Yeah. Like you have to understand.
You have to be able to look at that situation in particular.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And be like, okay, these are two teenagers. Yeah. And it's not like you're talking about a 19-year-old and a fucking 13-year-old. It's like you're talking about people that are pretty darn close in age.
Exactly, yeah.
And I get it, there's laws, but I do think in certain situations you got to actually analyze it and be like, okay, let's take a deeper look at this. Yeah. And think.
And the other thing is like if having like underage nudes on your phone or whatever makes you a pedophile, then like we're all pedophiles in high school, you know?
Speak for yourself. Girls didn't like me.
Oh man, but yeah, I mean, it's total insanity. We have to, again, like Ben said, you have to look at the circumstances and see if these kinds of terms are actually applicable to the situation.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that's being operated in the gray area.
Yeah, this dude's just a normal dude. He's not a pedophile at all.
I mean, it's not like fucking Jared from Subway.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I mean, I think it was a shitty thing. I don't think you should try to hit on your fans at all. I think it wouldn't feel right. Again, it's not. The thing is, it's like when there's any kind of like sexual chemistry, you generally it's more genuine if you're on like a level playing field. Like you see a girl at a club or a bar or something, or she's a classmate or whatever. Yeah. But when you have this like they know you through videos and they're like a fan of you, like you're up here and she's down here. So it's like
and they're liking you for pretty much the wrong reasons. They like the idea of you.
Like, they like this persona of you, the idea of you. Yeah. So it's like you can just like really easily reel them in, and like they're so obsessed with you already that by the time you're fucking them, they don't know what's going on. You know, like it's
you trying to tell me somebody? It sounds like
So like I see that is bad, and I would never do that. But attacking it from the age perspective is so fucking shitty. And we really do live in a culture where it's there's so many people are so quick to address someone as a pedophile the minute they have the chance, and so many people are terrified to even talk about this stuff. Yeah. And it's really important stuff, and the way that these younger people look at it these days is very disconcerting. It's very dangerous. The way they take these situations and these ages so literally. Like the 18 is this magical age where you go from like being a 10-year-old to being like a 50-year-old. Yeah. You know? Yeah. It's so fucked up.
She's just a child.
Yeah, exactly.
When she's 18, they're like, go for it. Yeah. It's I don't know, man. People in laws and perception of things, it's all very very complex when I think a lot of times it doesn't need to be that complex.
Yeah, it's not at all.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, you're biologically developed at like 25. So 18 is a nice medium zone in that gradual ascent to adulthood. And it's a ballpark. And that's why we have these 2-year things where it's okay for 17s and 19-year-olds, it's okay for 16 and 18-year-olds.
Isn't there something where like the human brain isn't fully developed until 24, 25?
Yeah.
So it's like his brain and her brain aren't even fully developed.
Yeah.
And it's like, so is that not taken into account that he's not a fully developed man?
Yeah, no, I know. Yes, it's really not. Like,
well, in terms of the longevity of the brain and all that shit.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, I think these laws are good, but they should be accepted more. I think there's a huge difference between the laws and then like the public's perception and acceptance of these laws. Like I was talking to someone on Twitter who was against my stance on it, this stance, and she was just talking weird. She started saying like, I was saying, weren't you in like a senior and maybe you thought like a junior or even a sophomore was like a little bit attractive? Like, come on, you got to be real with yourself.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, not at all. I only ever liked older men. And I was like, okay, well that's you.
Yeah.
That's you, right? And then she was like, I don't even like it when they shave their penis because it looks like a little kid or something. And I don't even agree with that. The whole like.
Who is this? Some wacko on Twitter?
Yeah, some wacko. And actually, what she did, I don't know if she thought she was like getting me, but she like leaked my DMs with her, and then and she didn't think I'd noticed, but like my friend saw it and he told me about it, and I was like, why'd you do that? That was a shitty thing to do. But it's like I stand by what I said. I said it's essentially what I said just now to her in DMs.
Yeah.
And I think she thought she was like exposing me, but I called her out on it because it was a shitty thing to do nonetheless.
Yeah.
Like
that's someone who's just looking
DMs.
for a rise, and it seems almost like they're hiding something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like the minute I called her out on her, she blocked me. So it's like what a shitty person. Yeah. But
well, it's almost like those Dazed and Confused type movies and like the Porky's type movies. They were all like, "Hey, freshmen."
Yeah.
And it's like you've got guys that are like juniors and seniors checking out the freshmen.
Yeah.
So that you're telling me that's not a real thing?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That was never in anyone's mind. Okay, sure.
I know.
I believe it.
I know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's really bad, guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's case by case situations, and just use your best judgment. But it's like you look at something like that, and you're like, come on, that's fucked up to make that guy suffer like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I feel really bad for the guy. Like I don't think I've watched a single video of his. I didn't even know what he did until after all this went down. I saw that he like streams Minecraft. I know nothing about him. I don't particularly like him, but I feel really bad for him right now. Yeah. Because he's a young guy and he's
circumstantial.
Yeah, like he did a slightly crappy thing, but he shouldn't be like fucking castrated for it. It's like, it's insane. Yeah.
And that's what they want. And my thing is, why are they getting so riled up about that?
I know. Yeah, people are so vicious.
Yeah,
they all
weird.
claim to be so
righteous.
Yeah, I know. We're so liberal, right? We're so accepting. Yeah. We're so, and then the minute something like, fuck you, fucking kill this guy.
Anything that goes against this weird, somehow mutually agreed upon idea of how society should be.
Yeah.
If it goes even slightly against that in terms of even the way people speak, they fucking punish the shit out of those people. It's like they. Speaking of punishing, I want to talk about this with you because I think this will rally you up a little bit. Let me see where it's at. All right, here we go. I'll read this to you. It's fucking insanity. Let me pull up the full article. Marvel under pressure to retire Punisher character and logo.
Whoa.
This week, there were a number of people who called for Marvel. Who are these fucking people? There were a number of people who called for Marvel to retire the Punisher as a character and his logo. Because the logo was spotted on rioters at the Capitol.
Oh!
Fucking this logo. The logo right there. The skull.
I don't believe it.
Voices calling for Marvel to retire the Punisher and or his logo following its continued adoption as a symbol of hatred and division have increased following the riots at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. last week. Multiple rioters were seen sporting a modified version of the iconic character's logo as they stormed the Capitol in an act of domestic terrorism. The Punisher logo has been adopted by a number of different groups over the years, but has become more prominent in recent months. A former Marine, countless writers have been clear that the Punisher is first and foremost a murderer driven by vengeance, putting that above the patriotism and sense of duty he long left behind. The Punisher himself has admonished police for wearing his logo, clarifying that it has no place alongside the duty to protect and serve, but that hasn't stopped it showing up on the uniforms of cops and soldiers as well as in Blue Lives Matter demonstrations at the Capitol this weekend. And the most recent Punisher, John Bernthal, said that's crazy. He's always going to stand by the character and the logo.
Good.
Because it is its own thing and it existed long before it was associated with any other group.
Yeah.
And my thing is, it's like, are you fucking insane? Like, it's a skull. It's the Punisher logo. And the Punisher's been a character since what? 80s probably? He's been around for 70s. He's been around for a long time. And it's like, he's a completely separate thing, okay? And it's like, and then also to go in and say you're gonna erase the whole fucking character? Are you nuts?
That's completely
how
insane.
fragile are you? How crazy are you? How people pleasing are you? Are you nuts? Like, you're gonna get rid of the Punisher, who is a character that I love. I love the Punisher. Especially Thomas Jane's iteration, and also how he was portrayed in the 90s in the comics and in the cartoon.
God.
But he, that's just insanity. And because they say a number of voices. What do you mean? Some fucking crazies on Twitter? Like some like nerds were like, oh, we don't like that, so get rid of it. Just because you don't like something doesn't mean you have to erase it. You know what I mean? And it's like what they're... God, I don't know how to phrase that correctly. They're doing the same thing where they're taking that label and they're putting it on something that's essentially unrelated.
Yeah.
Just because there's a component of it that's connected to these people that are doing things that they don't agree with.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So it's like you're slapping that label on the fucking Punisher as a character? What the fuck?
I know.
Yeah.
What is it even... I don't know if that train of thought derives from all that like triggered stuff from like 2016 where like now everyone's going to associate the Punisher with these alt-right people that stormed the Capitol, so we got to get rid of... Like, what's the fucking thought process? It doesn't make any sense. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
But it
So it's
makes
like,
no
where
sense.
does that stop? So that means if
It tarnishes his whole legacy because one crazy guy wore a shirt?
yeah.
Like, what the
and
fuck?
my thing is, it's like, okay, so let's say, what's next? You know, so next thing you know, there's a attack on, you know, fill in the blank, some other government building, and you know, a few guys have Spider-Man logos on their shirts. We gotta get rid of Spider-Man. He's a symbol of hate.
Holy shit!
And it's like,
man.
where does it stop, man? Where
You
the
gotta
hell
get rid of
does
the
it stop?
coyotes because I'm wearing this
Yeah,
hoodie
that's,
right
that's
now.
a symbol of hate. It's a symbol of violence. What are you? Are you saying you want to bite me with those teeth
Yeah,
and
that's
kill
right.
me? It's a symbol of violence. Ah, fuck. I mean, where does it end, guys? Where does it end?
Oh my God,
And
it's
who are you trying to impress?
I know.
Why is everyone virtue? I can't even fucking speak. Why is everyone virtue signaling to the entire world?
I know,
What are you
I know,
trying to
I know,
prove?
yeah.
What are you trying to prove? Like, chill out, dude. Quit.
It's super fucked up.
If you're truly against violence and truly against hatred, great. I think we all can agree that we are, except for, you know, there's some radicals out there, obviously. But in general, your average people, yeah, we don't want shit fucked up. We want peace. We want prosperity. But to go in and take it a step further and to try to tear things down and to destroy the history of certain things or characters, especially, like in this case,
Yeah.
it's fucking weird. It's just weird.
I hate how we have to lump things in their entirety or we have them not at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of what happened with J.K. Rowling. Like, we enjoyed Harry Potter growing up, but
Loved Harry Potter, yeah.
I think I read like half of the first book and then I gave up.
I read 4 of them.
Yeah, there you go.
And then I got to the point where I think I just kind of grew out of it. But I did love Harry Potter as a kid.
Yeah, it was fun.
The first 2 specifically, I was right at that age.
Yeah.
Where I was like, the first 2 movies, I was like, I love these. Yeah.
It wasn't cute. We'll be right back with a short commercial break, guys.
When you're the world's largest hotel and entertainment complex, the MGM Grand, you need plenty of wide-open spaces. So it's only fitting that a city of pyramids, palaces, and castles would be the new home of our 5,000-room kingdom, complete with a magical Emerald City, a 15,000-seat event center, even a 33-acre theme park. Las Vegas, where the lion will reign supreme. Try to take it.
The largest and hottest library of 16-bit games plays on Sega Genesis, featuring Streets of Rage, the fighting game that'll knock your socks off, with 40 individually controllable attack moves, and a neighborhood crawling with punks, muggers, and urban slime. Streets of Rage, only on the 16-bit Genesis system from Sega.
And we're back.
Welcome back. Anyway, sorry for that abrupt cut. We're outside, and we gotta
Change the battery.
go
once
with
in
the
a
wind
while.
with the battery life. Yeah. But anyway, so it came out that J.K. Rowling was a TERF, right? She thought there should be some differentiation between trans women and biological women. It's a whole can of worms, maybe for another time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so all these people who loved her books, which when we were in high school, like all those people were like these democratic Stugo people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all like good students. They're fucking nerds.
Yeah.
And obviously that pool of people hated what she came out and said, and so they like denounced all of Harry Potter. And that's such a stupid.
Yeah.
You have to be able to separate a person from their work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, like there's rappers who have done atrocious things.
Yeah.
And people are still pumping their music,
Yeah,
just loving it, like. And I'm like, I have tons of musicians like that, and it's just like, really, you can't separate the art from the person or from the artist, but you can in some cases.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
weird.
And I remember when I think it was XXX Tentacion died or whatever. He was like actually he beat. I think I don't know if it was one girlfriend or multiple girlfriends, but he was like a terrible guy. He abused women like severely. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like heartbroken when he died. And I'll be honest, I don't give a shit about his music. I thought he sucked, so I didn't really care.
Yeah.
But because people loved his music so much, they were like, oh, he was trying to be a better person. It's like, dude, the dude was a piece of shit. But yeah, right. In some, it reveals.
But that's okay.
Yeah, it reveals that it's very selfish. If it's someone that they like enough, they'll like latch onto it.
Yeah.
But if they feel like the Harry Potter thing kind of died down.
Yeah.
So I think those people maybe felt like, oh, I can let go of that
And guaranteed, those people go
Yeah.
to Universal and go to Harry Potter World, and they're jerking off into the butterbeer, you know?
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, oh, but wait, I hate
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling.
Like, guess what, guys? Like, there's that phrase, don't meet your heroes for a reason. Because you're going to find out that they're a person. You're going to find out that they're a person who doesn't have all the exact same views that you do.
Yeah.
Like, no one who's done something great has been a fucking saint. Like, everyone who's done anything is going to have some take that you disagree with. They're going to have some opinion that doesn't fall in line with your opinions. And if that means you have to, like, rip the Band-Aid off and pretend like they never existed, then you're, like, depriving yourself of a lot.
Yeah. I
And-
mean, just think of
yeah.
all the literature that's been written all through history. That's by people that, people nowadays would probably disagree with their viewpoints.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, does that mean you're just going to limit yourself from learning?
Yeah, like literally. Yeah, I mean, if you put it that way, I've been seeing a lot of arguments that all the founding fathers were like scummy people, and it's like, yeah, if you regard them by today's standards, like everyone pre-1940 was probably a piece of shit, right? But
Based on their rigid standards now that they adhere people to who have been dead for hundreds of years.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
get
yeah,
off
yeah.
your high horse, you fucking wacko.
yeah, no, I know. Yes, it's insane. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
So
Actually, Thomas Jefferson, bad dude. George Washington, bad dude. You don't know them. And also, like, just look at the society they lived in. Look
Yeah.
at the time they lived in. Look at... Dude, it's impossible. You can't,
it's a non sequitur. You can't like compare.
I can't even accurately judge people held up against today's standards. Someone from 70 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
And it's like, that doesn't excuse everything, obviously, but you got to be logical about it. And you got to be like, okay, I'm holding people up to completely insane standards.
Yeah.
Like I said, people have been dead for hundreds of years.
I want to. I got to keep this like anonymous because I don't want to say this is a very personal thing. But say there's a guy who wrote, like, say my friend wrote an autobiography, or not an autobiography, a biography about Carrie Fisher after she died.
Okay.
And like he fucking loves Star Wars. He loves the original cast. He loves Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
So say he, to honor her legacy and who she was, he wrote this biography about Carrie Fisher. And Harrison Ford reads it and gives it like a scathing review and says it's like one of the shittiest biographies he's ever read. It's awful. It doesn't paint her in the right light.
Yeah.
My friend is going to feel really bad about that, right? This happened to a friend of mine. This wasn't the exact same situation, but it was something like this.
Yeah.
and it really tore him up. Like these were his heroes, and he tried to do something nice for one of them, and like another hero adjacent to them like fucking hated it. And he said, you know, that's okay. I mean, it hurts, but I can still separate, say, like Harrison Ford playing Han Solo, playing Indiana Jones. I still love those roles.
Yeah.
It just
it would be a little tough though.
Right, yeah, but
It would be a
even
little
he
tough.
did it. Like he was like, it's okay. You know, I still love his work. I mean, that hurt, but I can separate the man's work from the man himself.
Yeah.
And that is a really, if he can fucking do that.
But he had a direct interaction.
Direct, yeah.
See, that's almost a whole different thing.
I know, yeah. Well, I mean, it was like a public review, but it was directed at him.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It was a public review.
One was aware of the other.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could deal with that.
I don't know if I could. I'd be like, Harrison.
Yeah, but that really inspired me in a way. Because, I mean, if he could do that, then that shows us that we should all be able to separate. Like, the worth of someone's work is almost separate from the person. Obviously, they're mutually inclusive in a way, but again, like, you know, like George Lucas talks about a lot, you know, going off of Star Wars, how the Star Wars films are his babies, and at some point you gotta let them go.
Yeah.
That's the same for anything you create in the world. Like, I think obviously it should rightly be attributed to you, but what I'm saying is that work can almost be regarded separately from the person. You know, that work still has...
It takes on a life of its own.
It has worth on its own, yeah. It's not necessarily contingent on what the person does.
Exactly.
So J.K. Rowling says a bunch of dumb shit. The Harry Potter books haven't changed.
Yeah.
They haven't magically been rewritten. They're still the books you love.
Yeah.
She just happened to say some dumb shit you didn't like.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, that would be like the equivalent of, I mean, hers is not as serious as this one, but it would be like, imagine your whole life you grow up idolizing Bill Cosby.
Right.
Let's say you go see him in concert, you love the Cosby Show, Bill Cosby's your man.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point and you like, literally, let's say you're like the biggest fan, like you went to a taping of the show, you're like, oh, I'm so excited. Bill invited me out for drinks afterwards. I woke up confused. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's a very radical example.
Yeah.
But imagine that, like he's just your favorite comedian.
Even Jerry said he loves him, and he can still appreciate his work after all the fucking horrible shit.
Because then you find out something terrifying like that.
Yeah.
Autofocus. Whoa, hey. And yeah, I mean that's maybe a shitty example, but at the same time, it's like
it's a good example.
You can still separate the work. It's like if they were showing reruns of the Cosby Show, you could be like, it's funny, and does that detract from all the other people on the show?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some people would say yes, but it's really not their fault.
Yeah.
You know, the other actors on the show, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
You know that he was a fucking creep.
So, like, because this random guy wore a Punisher shirt to the Capitol, does that mean all the Punisher comics have magically changed? Does that mean the series on Netflix
and even if it is a lot of people doing it, okay, that's separate from the character that was created and from Marvel and from the logo.
You shouldn't let that stuff, like, fuck your perception of what you love up.
Yeah.
Because it's silly.
I got a prime example of that. The city of Phoenix, all the different departments that they have, water department, etc. They all have that city of Phoenix bird, and it's like the bird that looks like the circular phoenix. Yeah, and that's like a government. You see, all the government guys have that, and that's even on police uniforms, everything like that.
Yeah.
There's a gang in Phoenix that adopted that, and you see like a lot of gangbangers.
It is a cool
you don't see
symbol.
you don't see it as much now, but you'll see that symbol on the back of cars, tattoos on gangbangers, and like that was adopted by a gang.
City of Phoenix.
So does that mean that the entire City of Phoenix and the City of Phoenix Police Department and City of Phoenix Fire Department are all going to change that logo because one gang adopted it and put it all over everything? No, and they did not.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, because that happened early enough before all this crazy culture.
Yeah,
and they probably realized that'd be crazy expensive to change that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, fuck them. They're a different entity.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not associated with them. Clearly.
Not letting it bug you is much stronger than like rerouting your whole fucking life.
And over time, it's like you don't see that as much. I don't know anything about the gang or whatever, but the city didn't let it be a problem.
Yeah, you don't if you don't let it redefine the thing, then it won't.
Yeah, it took on a different meaning in that case, but it was connected to so many greater things that were government related. It's like they just moved on.
And if people hadn't brought to light that someone at the Capitol was wearing that shirt, no one would have given a fuck. No one probably would have even really thought about it or really noticed. Yeah. The fact that they're like pushing for this is making it more of an issue than it should have been.
Yeah, it's weird. And my thing is, it's like, it just seems like a waste of time, and it seems like misdirected energy.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
It's like you're not against the hate. You're against acting like you're against the hate and against spending money to change things and to make concessions for for weird fucking reasons.
Pointless thing to do. Pointless thing to do.
And again, they're just slapping on, it's to stop the spread of violence and misinformation.
Speaking of Harry Potter, there is there's a really cool game that it's almost like turn of the century Hogwarts, and you get to like create your own wizard.
Alakazoo.
Exactly. It looks really fucking cool.
And it's a computer game or what?
It's like a PS5, I think.
No shit.
Yeah. It looks really cool. But that's the whole.
cool.
The coolest part of Harry Potter is like imagining yourself in the world.
Oh yeah.
And that's exactly what this game does.
Man, I would love to have gone to
I'd play
Hogwarts.
that. I don't care what J.K. Rowling says. She probably has nothing to do with the fucking game.
I'm sure. No.
It's gonna be. It looks like a great game.
Yeah. It's a cool world.
I want to be a wizard.
World. I would love to be a wizard. I'd be I'd be Ravenclaw. All right, guys, we're going to take one more break, and then we'll wrap up the podcast.
Somewhere between heaven and hell, memory and madness, something happened. Something spectacular, something terrifying, something beautiful, something devastating, something incredible, something insane. Francis Ford Coppola presents Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, Martin Sheen, Apocalypse Now, rated R. Check newspapers for a theater near you.
Hello, we have returned.
We have. So Ben just showed me this cool video of I don't know who's manufacturing these.
I think they're just custom
Damn,
jobs.
that's sick. Yeah. So it's a Super Nintendo as the body of a guitar.
Yeah.
That's really super. That's sick. It sounded good.
And it's a functional. So they took the Nintendo.
Yeah, both function.
They turned it into an electric guitar that's fully functional. You plug it in into an amp, play it, and then you can also lay it on its side, plug it into the TV, and still play video games on it.
That's sick as hell.
Look it up, Nintendo.
I wonder if could you do both at the same time? Did you have someone playing games on it, and then the other guy playing the guitar?
If you're ambidextrous, I don't know. But
that's so sick. Yeah,
play with your toes. No,
that's the ultimate like '90s.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
it's like a transformer that got caught halfway.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a car and a robot.
It's almost like something you would draw on like in class in like 1999.
What I find interesting is that thought never ever once crossed my mind.
No, me neither.
Of like that's like some crazy musical Eddie Van Halen genius engineer that looked at that and was like, I can turn that into a guitar.
Yeah,
it's like the stoners that can turn anything into a pipe.
Right.
I'm gonna turn that into a pipe. But it's like with a guitar, it's like I feel like there's those industrious musicians, inventors.
It's weird. I'm not sure the science behind it. I mean, obviously for acoustic guitars, you have to have the body has to be a certain
hollowness
and a certain size for the acoustics to work, for the guitar to sound correctly.
Yeah.
But when it's electric, obviously it goes through an amp regardless, so the body can almost be whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, it can be crazy shapes.
Apparently, yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool.
Which is really, really cool.
So look it up, and if you guys love us, send us too.
If you could make anything a guitar body, what would it be?
Boy, anything, huh?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Yeah.
Pumpkin?
Pumpkin would be cool. It slowly decays.
Yeah. No.
Something perishable.
Something perishable. Maybe
a turkey and uncooked like Thanksgiving turkey.
Yeah. A Sega Genesis would be good. You know what would be cool is if you found some really old hieroglyphs from like Egypt, and you were able to somehow preserve them so they weren't like chipping away like chalk. If you put like some laminate over them, and you got like some like ancient rubble from like a piece of the pyramids, you turn that into an Egyptian guitar.
Hell yeah!
It's like shaped like a pyramid. Like I don't know. There's a lot of shit you can turn into a guitar.
I do like. Oh, I don't know, some old kids game like a Bop It or something.
Ooh,
yeah, I don't know,
Bop It.
Something weird like that.
Sock It. Yeah, Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah.
And they still play, and you like make them fight, and that like changes the tuning. Fucking amazing. Rock'em Sock'em Robot rock guitar.
God. That's an interesting one. Let us know in the comments what you would make the body of your electric guitar.
Yes. Keep it appropriate or not.
So last thing we wanted to talk about, I have been expanding my streaming platforms. Netflix got so awful for me. I broke down and got HBO, and we've been sharing a Hulu account.
Yeah, Hulu's good.
And I've been seeing some better stuff on there. And you said there's something, obviously, like legit movies are coming out on those platforms now because of COVID.
Yes.
They're not necessarily like Netflix originals or whatever, but they just happen to be on there because they know people aren't going to the theaters.
Yes. There's one coming out February 5th, I believe, at least here on Amazon, and it's called Bliss, B-L-I-S-S, with Owen Wilson and Salma Hayek, and it looks really interesting. It looks like a sci-fi simulation theory type movie that just looks like a real, it's kind of cliche to say, but kind of a mind fuck. And it looks like it has a lot of magic to it. It has a lot of suspense. It looks like a little bit of drama mixed in, and I'm just a huge Owen Wilson fan. So I'm really, really looking forward to that one. And if you like him, if you like that kind of thought-provoking stuff, look up the trailer for Bliss because it looks super, super interesting. I'm just personally just a huge fan of Owen. Salma Hayek, amazing. And it just looks like a amped up psychological Twilight Zone thing, and I'm just really, really excited about it. And what's kind of neat is, for once, I am excited about new movies being available immediately.
Yeah.
And it's like, coming out February 5th, watch it from home, support Owen.
Support Owen.
Yeah.
And yeah, for those who haven't been following his career, he's been doing more serious stuff lately. So this isn't like a comedy by any means.
No.
It's very dramatic thriller type thing. And one thing that kind of jumped out to me when I was watching the trailer is that it reminded me of that famous Elon Musk interview on Joe Rogan, where he's talking to him about, are we in a what did he call it? A simulation? Yeah, are we in a simulation? And Elon Musk is kind of like, you think he knows something, and he's kind of like holding back.
I almost feel he's like, you're getting close, Joe.
Yeah, right.
Tread lightly.
And it looks like this movie. It looks like this movie deals with the conundrum whether or not it even matters. Like there's a point when there's like someone he loves in his apparently simulated life that he has feelings for, and this other person's like, they're not real, forget about it, and he's like, well, the feelings are real to me. And that's always kind of been my take. Like, even if we're all in a simulation, the pain we feel is still real. Like the love we feel is still real. The food we eat still tastes really good. So does that not define what's real? Like, even if we're all sitting in like a Matrix tub, we're still, the emotions are still real, and I think that's what counts.
Maybe the Matrix tub is our soul.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't know.
So it looks to me like this movie deals with that sort of question really deeply, and it looks really cool. Yeah, and just visually it looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks neat.
He has some sort of almost predetermined connection with this other world, and he's getting visions, and he
looks dramatic, but it's also got those sci-fi elements, and like you're not sure what's real and what's fake. Is he losing his mind? I don't know.
Yeah.
But Bliss, Owen Wilson. Check out the trailer. Also, another really good one. I've plugged this one a million times. It's just one of my favorite movies. Midnight in Paris with Owen Wilson. If you like really interesting, magical, fun movies, that's one of the best. And that's actually one of his personal favorites that he enjoyed making.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's a great film.
Another good one with Owen was Darjeeling Limited. That was a cool one. And if you want a serious one, No Escape with he and Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
That was a surprisingly good movie.
I'll check it out.
Something like that. No Escape, I think,
That's cool.
Yeah. Love Owen.
I'll check him out.
Love Owen Wilson. Anyway, anything else you'd like to add?
I think that's it. I hope you guys are doing good.
Yeah.
Don't let the news mess you up. Everything's fine. And I mean, if you stay true to yourself, you can, you'll be okay. I think the world at this point sort of wants everything to come unraveled and go crazy, but don't let it get to you. It's all blown out of proportion. So
don't believe the media. Don't let it get you overexcited.
Yeah.
Don't do anything violent. Be good to each other. Obviously, be cautious. Don't let your guard down. Still lock your doors and be vigilant. When the times call for it.
Yeah.
But don't be shitty for no reason. Let's just continue to be good people, and let's try to remain optimistic and positive and optimistic about the future.
Yeah. That's all we can do, and that's all we should be doing.
All right.
Take care, guys. See you later.
Remain unfazed.
Good. Solid video.